We hear a lot about jobs. Well, you know, the military produces a lot of good jobs. It's a reasonable argument, except it's not the whole argument. There was a study done by the Perry Institute at the University of Massachusetts. They said, if you take $1 billion and spend it on the military, how many jobs will it create? If you take the same $1 billion and spend it on education, or on health care, or on protecting the environment, sustainable technologies, how many jobs will it create? And what came out was the military creates fewer jobs per $1 billion than any one of those others, including tax cuts to spur consumer spending, which creates more jobs. And then they said, well, okay, but these jobs are really good jobs. And they did a study of what the jobs pay. And when they factored it all out, with the exception of the medical area, which has a lot of very low-paid people in it, the military paid worse than the others, on average. So if the study is accurate, you have to take the reverse. When they talk about cutting, what will do the most or the least damage? Well, the converse is, if you cut $1 billion of spending from education, you will destroy more jobs than if you cut $1 billion from the military. And then you hear the argument, well, but those are a lot of good union jobs. That's true. But if you look at the actual activity of the corporations, you will see that as the corporations have received bigger and bigger contracts, they are actually reducing the size of their workforce. And much of that work is going out of the country, even though by law, the final, the prime contractor's got to be American. But much of the assembly is it's like the automobiles. You know, you get your engine from Mexico and your transmission from Korea, all that stuff. I worked in the labor movement. I've spent my entire adult life in the labor movement. I organized my first union when I was 18. I'm now older than that by a fair amount. And I am sensitive to the fact that there are lots of people and communities that depend on these contracts. But when you look at the country, there are 3 states that have the overwhelming majority of military contracts. They've spread the rest around, but they really account for a very small percentage of the economies of most states. And you probably can figure out what 2 of those states are. One of them is our own. What's another?
Texas.
Texas. And the third? Virginia. Those 3 states, the overwhelming majority of contracts. So, here's the plan. This is my plan. You know, Jack has his plan, I've got my plan.